What's up, guys? So my boyfriend and I were brainstorming ideas for videos, and he had mentioned something about something using tofu, and I mean, I had just made my mac and cheese recipe video, which if you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below so you can check it out. Best comfort food ever, right? Anyway, so that got me thinking though, that conversation got me thinking, what is it about tofu that seems so unappealing to people? And then I realized it's just this white block of mush. Held together mush. And when you say it like that, it's, yeah, not appealing at all. But when you cook it right, it's amazing. So then I was trying to decide what recipes can I make that have tofu in them, and how do I make them more appealing to someone. So what usually ends up happening is someone tries tofu, has a poor experience with it, whatever that may be. Usually it's because it's not cooked properly, but they have a poor experience about it and they write it off completely after that, right? So I decided I'm gonna give you 3 very simple, easy tofu recipes, and then that way those 3 recipes will be a starting point for you to experiment with tofu and see what other types of meals you can make with either what I give you today or what you choose to do in the future. So yeah, let's get started. Meal number 1 is going to be a tofu scramble, but not your everyday tofu scramble. I'm going to plate it a little differently than I've seen others do it. The first thing you'll need is a block of tofu. I'm using extra firm and I'm not going to press it at all because it isn't necessary. You'll also need some turmeric powder, nutritional yeast, black pepper, and salt. The first thing to do is break apart the tofu into chunks, and don't worry about how big or small they are, they'll break up a little bit more when you're cooking. So here's what it'll look like after the tofu is all crumbled up. Then you'll add in all of your spices. Don't worry, the exact measurements are linked down below, but it all depends on what you like. If you like more than one thing, put more of it in. If you don't, then don't. It also doesn't matter the order you put the spices in. I just did it like this because I'm a creature of habit and that's what I've always done. Once your spices are added in, you'll mix everything together and make sure all the bits of tofu are coated well. Here's what it'll look like after. So here's my tofu scramble spread. Wow, try saying that 5 times fast. Anyway, I'm gonna cook all of this up and add the tofu in a little bit towards the end. If you're not using oil like me, you'll want to add in the tiniest bit of water just to get everything going. Would you look at that color? That right there is how food should really look. I also added in some frozen green peas just because. Then it's time to assemble everything. As you can see, I put the scramble on some toast with lettuce and avocado. I try to incorporate greens in every meal, as you should as well. So, this is my take on a tofu scramble. I'm gonna want to add sriracha to it. Put it all on that. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I made a mess of everything. But I think I got a little bit of all of it on there, minus a piece of lettuce, which I don't think is. Alright guys, there you have it. Just amazing piece of toast. I'm gonna eat this, and we'll make meal number 2 soon. Oh my goodness. It's just so good. Just so good. Alright guys, so meal number 2 today. I have a block of tofu. Again, this is a extra firm block of tofu and not, obviously by the watermark, not pressed in any means. So for meal number 2, I'm making a TLT, or tofu lettuce tomato. You know, the vegan version of a BLT. To make this, you'll want to slice up your tofu into relatively the same thickness and set that aside. Then you're going to make the marinade. What you need for the marinade is some tamari or regular soy sauce, maple syrup, smoked paprika, and red pepper flakes. You could also add in a little liquid smoke, but I didn't have any and this works without it. So once all of your ingredients are in a bowl, you're going to whisk it all together and put your tofu in it. Then you're going to let them sit for about 10 minutes or the time it takes to chop up all your veggies for your sandwich. After that time is up, you're going to lay them flat on a preheated pan. I'm using a nonstick pan, so there's no need for any oil, but if you don't have a nonstick pan, you may want to think about using just a little bit of oil just so the tofu doesn't stick. I also had a lot of marinade left over, so I coated the tofu again once they were in the pan, and I'll do that one more time after I flip them. You're going to let them sit for about 4 minutes on each side or until the edges are nice and crispy. Kind of like how bacon would cook, but you shouldn't need to worry about any splatter. Once the tofu is done frying, you'll build your sandwich or put it with whatever else you're eating. I also baked up some potatoes to go with my sandwich because every sandwich needs a side. Okay guys, now here is lunch. There you have it, the beautiful TLT falling apart. Here is a piece of just a corner piece of the bacon. There, look at that, perfect crispness, perfection. So, I'm just gonna eat this. Cheers to lunch. So, I will see you at dinner. Alright guys, we've got our third and final recipe. This recipe is going to be a baked tofu. So baked tofu is very simple. Again, I'm using extra firm tofu and not pressing it. By not pressing it, I've cut out 20 minutes of prep time, and to be honest, I'm just lazy. Anyway though, you'll cut the tofu into whatever shape you want. I chose to cut mine into chunks, and I'm seasoning it with yellow curry powder and then mixing it all together. You can season it with whatever you like. Salt and pepper are really good for a neutral flavor. Then you'll put it all on a baking sheet. Yes, my parchment paper is slightly dirty. I always reuse it until I can't anymore, or if I'm cooking something with oil. Once everything is on the baking sheet, you're going to put it in an oven that's been preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until the tofu is golden brown. Here is the last and final meal. Oh. Look at that. I think this turned out way better than I thought it was going to, because I've never made this before. I think this turned out really nicely. I'm gonna try just a piece of tofu by itself. So the tofu is just a curry powder mix. So it's curry powder on it, then I baked it in for like 15-20 minutes in the oven, and yeah. It's pretty good. Definitely very strong curry taste, but really good still. It's got like the nice crunch to it, but it's still soft in the middle, which is like, really good to me. Yeah. Then I just cooked up, sauteed up some veggies, put it with some pasta, made a tahini sauce, and that was pretty much it. Mixed it together. Really good. Look at that. I mean, come on, just look at that. That is just gorgeous. Ugh, curry tofu, a little overpowering by itself. With the pasta, incredible. Okay, I'm gonna end up eating all of this if I don't put it down. There you have it. 3 super easy, super delicious tofu recipes. So trust me, tofu, if seasoned correctly and cooked properly, you could never go wrong, usually. I will leave all of the recipe information for each tofu item in the description box below, so you can go check that out for details. Yeah, and then in the comments, let me know what your favorite tofu recipe is, whether it's one of the ones I made or if it's something different. I would love to know, because then I have new ideas, you have new ideas, just a sharing community. If you make any of these recipes, tag me on Instagram if you're posting pictures. I would love to see them and see how they turned out for you. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I will see you in the next video. But until then, I hope you have a lovely morning, day, afternoon, night, evening, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you soon. Bye! Got an itch. What is this hair doing? Get an